Guys, I suppose I am leaving my apartment. I've been here for the last 6 months and that shit's empty. That is as empty as can be. What? Don't mind David, he's just walking around in the shocks the whole time. Well, I guess moving out, you're able to find some golden gems. Boy, guys, what is 6 months here in Milan? First time I came to Milan was like last August. I came to visit David for came to visit for 2 weeks, and it's been a long 2 weeks. And I don't regret it at all. I do love the beach. So Milan doesn't have the beach, so I think that's the only thing Milan doesn't have going for it. But it reminds me of London, like the European version of London, where life's just moving. There's a lot of moving parts. Things are moving pretty quickly. Here's the entrance to our place. Nice, massive place, but we're moving into a new place for next week. This weekend, we're going to the charity event. So like tomorrow, I'm going to a friend's wedding. I'm going to record the whole thing. And then I'm going to the charity event on Saturday. We're going to record all of that. Matthew's going to be out as well. So it's going to be looking good. And what a great end to the 6 months, because the first time I came out here, our first AST event, we basically said, hey, why don't we do like a soccer tournament? And then it started to turn into reality. Ironically, when my 6-month lease ends, we're heading straight to it. And with this YouTube video, I just wanted to kind of go through a couple of things I learned from those 6 months, just a little bit of a walk and talk, because I think just being as raw and authentic as possible with you guys is important. And a lot of shit happened over those 6 months. Like, let me just walk you through, because the start of the year, I was a little lost. I think everybody's lost when it comes to the start of the year. You're trying different things, you want to do as much as possible, and then you realize, hey, you have the same 24 hours in the day as everybody else. What can I do in those 24 hours in order to be successful? And hey, by the way, look at the view here, by the way. Milan is beautiful. This is our little walk spot where we go. There's like some basketball courts up here, and then there's also some ping pong tables. And when I first came, first started this year, I went out to Alicante for like 4 weeks. Alicante was literally just a refresher. I need to understand what am I doing this year, what do I want to get done, and what do I want to achieve. And honestly, I didn't get as much as I wanted to do done. And I think it came to, I was next to the beach, and I don't know if I can focus as much as I want to at the beach. So then in February, moved out to Milan, came out and lived with David. And that was interesting in the first place, because I was wondering like how am I going to find living with a half Irish, half Australian fella? Well, he likes to think that he's half Irish, but nonetheless, how will I get on living with new people? Because I hadn't lived with David before. And what a blessing these 6 months have been, being in Milan, just becoming more independent. Like, the more dependent you can become on yourself, the higher you can hold yourself accountable. And that came to choosing what I'm doing, where am I spending my time. And I did leave a lot of vehicles. I think when you go through entrepreneurship and you're starting to do really well, all of a sudden you have all these random opportunities that come your way. But instead of saying yes, you have to become a master at saying no. The more you can say no, the better you'll perform, because you're more focused and you're getting more done with that one vehicle than you will splitting yourself across 6 or 7. And I did have a period where I was focusing on like the agency, I was focused on some sales teams, I was focused on the sales myself, and I was like, fuck dude, what do I need to do to just focus on one thing? And I have successfully focused on one thing for the last like 2 months, and in the last month we closed about 60 to 70k of a company I own equity in. And we just want to see that grow. Like, why would I focus on anything else when I just need to 10x what we're doing to get to 700k a month? Would it be easier to do that than focus on like 4 or 5 other things at the same time? I think yes. So just becoming a master at one thing has been the main thing I've learned over these last 6 months. For you to be independent and focusing on yourself, you need to one, split business and personal life. And then when you're focused on business, not split yourself too much. And what I mean by splitting personal and business life is business is going to go up and down all the time, and you cannot have that dictate your emotions too much. Sure, when things are going well, you can celebrate a small bit, but things are going to hit the fan at some point. At some point, something's going to go wrong, and that's okay. That's fine. You have to realize that life is not coming at you. Life is coming from you. And there's a certain level of energy and aura that comes from you when you hold yourself. And the better you can become at harnessing that energy into thinking and positively all the time, the better life you'll have. The last 6 months has been completely focused on mentality, mindset. How do I get into a better position mentally? Because we went to a mastermind like 3 weeks ago, and one of the points that James Blackwell had mentioned was no amount of, hang on, let me rephrase. Working on yourself, both physically, mentally, and spiritually, is going to grow your business so much quicker than any fancy AI tool or UI out there. Because you're becoming a better person, you can manage more stress, and you can grow as an individual. If you can grow as an individual, your business naturally follows suit. It just catches up to reality. By the way, what a beautiful day. If I stay out here too long, I'm going to have some farmer tan. But that really stuck with me when we were out in Marbella at the Rob Lipson Adam Power event. No amount of energy spent just on the business is going to grow as quickly as you spending energy on yourself and growing yourself. So I did have a period where I just focused on myself, meditation, thinking in future tense. And what I mean by that is I always wanted to look like Batman or James Bond when he's in Suits. Heck, even Suits, the the series on Netflix. I want to be like them. I want to be wearing suits all the time. I want to be making good money, and I want to have that aura when I walk into a room. And now I have it. I have it because I believe it. I believe intrinsically that I am like that. And so I buy suits. I wear suits as often and as much as possible. And the boys will make jokes about it all the time. Whenever Warren goes anywhere and he goes somewhere nice, he's always wearing a suit. He's always wearing a nice shirt. And that's just become who I am. And that's just becomes what I'm known for. And that's what I post about all the time. And naturally, I turn into that person. Because whatever you think about all the time, we might have to cut that part, but whatever you think about all the time is the type of person that you'll turn into. So I know I've rambled on and I'm just speaking from thought, but as I said, I want to be as raw and authentic with you guys as possible. Those are the main things I learned over the last 6 months. As I move into a new apartment, I'm going to record the entire apartment, by the way, when we go in. It's nice. It's like 2 beds, 2 bathrooms, 2 offices. So it saves us getting like a 400 or 500 a month WeWork. And life's just been great. Life's just been great. A great example was last night, we were all cleaning the apartment. And then we went out for a walk. We put in a lot of graft to clean the apartment. Went out for a walk, and this guy came up to us, a Glovo driver, and he said that somebody cancelled their order. Keep in mind, we have 4 people that we were living with, right? And he came up and he said, these people, they just cancelled the order. It's like gelato. And we're like, oh, why don't you have the gelato? Like, obviously we just said, like, keep it for himself. Like, why don't you have it, bring it back to your family? He said, no, it's all good. And we opened it and it was like 4 meals. That doesn't happen with, like, as a coincidence. I don't believe in coincidences and I don't believe in luck. 4 of us cleaned our apartment and are moving out, and then we got randomly free meal for 4. We weren't that hungry, but like, we'll take it. And that's when you realize when you're positive all the time, random stuff like this just happens. If I had woken up yesterday and felt bad or terrible, that would have reflected in what I did throughout the entire day. That would have reflected in my energy as that guy went by me. And if I had reflected in the energy of myself when that guy would have went by me, maybe he would have given that food to somebody else. And you might call me weird, you might say this is completely out of left field, but it's true, it's the truth. You have a negative outlook on life, negative things are going to happen to you all the time. If you have a positive outlook on life, positive things are always going to happen. Matter of fact, I know that every time I leave the house, something good is going to happen to me. Look at this. What beautiful weather for my YouTube video. What beautiful weather. And I just wanted to go walk and talk. This is much better lighting than in any room that I could have had today, considering everything is being taken and torn apart, and all my lighting is wrapped up to me moved to a new place. Having said that, no amount of training or courses are going to change you as much as you changing your own mentality. And they talk about it all the time. You go into any course, you watch any YouTube video, they talk about it all the time. You're watching this YouTube video right now. You might be procrastinating. And that's fine. If you can be accountable and notice, hey, I'm procrastinating right now. How do I get out of this? How do I catch myself when this happens? How do I continually work? And that, my friend, is what you need to ask yourself. How can I think positively all the time? Because that's been the major switch for me over the last 6 months. I 100% guarantee if you follow this framework, the framework goes as follows. Be very careful with the words that you say, because your words turn into images in your brain, turn into thoughts, thoughts turn into emotions, and emotions dictate the way you see life. Here's a great example, and I don't know if I've mentioned this on YouTube before, but imagine an elephant in a pink bikini on a tricycle going down a yellow brick road. Your first instinct is imagining that in your brain. You have a thought and you think, why the hell is Warren saying this? That's ridiculous. And then your emotion is, maybe you think of me differently. And that, my friends, is how you can perceive any word that's said towards you. When anybody is negative, Trevor Blake talks about all the time, putting like a negative shield, protect yourself. Because if you add to that negative emotion, it'll just spiral. Likewise, if you add to a positive emotion, it will spiral. So stop procrastinating. Continue watching my YouTube videos, but stop procrastinating. Start thinking more positively and tell yourself, hey, if I want to become that person, stop saying I want. If you're telling yourself I want, naturally you can't have. So yeah, we even had a weekend in Alassio there that you guys will see. And the guys will even tell you how I am outside of these YouTube videos is the exact same. If anybody of you would have asked me for advice, I would have said the exact same thing. Because how you do one thing is how you do everything. My energy towards this topic is so strong. I've studied it so much to the point where I can talk about it on YouTube and I have the utmost conviction in my own words and myself. So, challenge for you this week. And you can put it in the comments if you're going to accept the challenge. Be more positive. Have a better outlook on life. Because it spirals. And if you like my content, please subscribe. The next couple of videos are going to be great. And I would turn on the bell notification. I'll see you guys in the next one.